Do what your mama says, do what your granny says, but most importantly, do what your pop says here on the Pop Says podcast. I am your host, JGhee, alongside my man, JB.
What up?
What up, what up, what up? And this is, and you are tuned in, and this is Pop Says podcast. It's going down. No need to, fathers, no need to get your belts. Keep your belts on your waist. We're gonna have a new approach in this year 2021. Not to say that you can't rightfully discipline your kids, but there's a strategy to this fatherhood thing that is more than just the old school rendition of you better do as I say, not as I do. We trying to collectively create a mindset around fatherhood where we perpetuate the idea of male handling and also the appropriation of the male that is today, and also bring about an understanding that we are the center of the universe that we create, which is our households, and trying to negate some of those old school ways of thinking and bring in, but not completely abandoning those, because we are definitely on the shoulders of those who came before us, such as our fathers, our mothers, and the relatives before us. So I want to give a shout out to all the fathers out there, and also moms out there. Mom says, we love y'all too. Much respect. We couldn't be the pops that we are without the moms that you are. So getting right into it, man. JB, how was your week, bro?
Horrible.
Say it, speak on it, because ain't nothing perfect these days, and I don't think anything was.
Yeah, but I've had the pleasure of everyone telling me I ain't never had 9 teeth taken out.
Ooh.
And I'm just gonna let everybody know you don't want to go through what I went through.
You know a cat has 9 lives, right?
Yeah, these 9 teeth though. Bro, I'm trying to tell you, man.
You lived all of your lives through the teeth, huh?
I'm telling you, you don't want that.
You say you don't want that?
I paid them to torture me.
Okay.
It was literally.
Oh, so this is like what, like a
It was an
S&M,
hour.
This is like an S&M thing, or
nah? This was an hour and 30 minutes.
So you turned into a sadomasochist in front of me right now?
An hour and 30 minutes.
An hour and 30 minutes.
An hour and 30
minutes.
Straight teeth pulling.
And this is not a metaphor. This is really straight.
This is real.
Teeth pulling, right?
Gone.
Oh, I'm looking at it, y'all.
Gone.
His whole side is
gone.
Like, gone. So let me see. Let me open your mouth again. And the bottom too. How many annihilators have you been eating, my brother?
Skittles.
Oh, the rainbow.
Skittles and fruit roll-ups.
The rainbow is not what that is it?
Nah, because this. I'm gonna let everybody know. Skittles, what they do, and this is where you lose your teeth. They're soft and they chew them, but they stay actually embedded in the sole and the crevice of those teeth. It's not one of those ones where it's in and out. It sits in there.
Oh wow.
And I would, people, brush your teeth, you go to sleep, stuff like that. So I found out from the dentist that even if you drink soda or if you drink some grape juice or something, about 30 minutes afterwards, that sugar and stuff is still sitting on the teeth. So it takes time for it to go away. So what they said was, if you're going to eat sugar, consume it all at the same time. So like if I eat my candy, a pack of Skittles, let's say if I get it at 9 a.m., if I open it at 12, I should eat them all right then and there. Because if I hold on to the pack,
it through. Yeah.
It's like you resetting the sugar level. Like it's like, let's say it was, because I'm kind of making this up, but anybody that's a dentist out there knows the actual numbers. But let's say I open it, I eat 10 Skittles for 30 minutes. Let's say the sugar that's on my teeth will go away after an hour.
Okay.
But then I get some more at 1:30.
Okay.
Then I get some more at 4:30. So what they're saying is that
perpetual cycle.
You're never really getting the sugar off your teeth.
Right.
And it's just doing that. And if you do that the whole day, also adding soda, adding juice, adding the candy you ate. So now your teeth are just slowly eroding and you're not catching it.
Wow.
So every time you drink a soda, there's like a certain amount of time after that.
You better go for the gusto.
So when you're holding on to that soda all day, you drinking multiple 2-liter cups throughout the day, in the morning, at lunch. All that is just decaying it, just nonstop, taking your teeth out of there, and you don't realize it until it's too late.
So all the things that are really actually bad for you, it's best that you go ahead and get it out the way, right? Don't enjoy it, right?
Well, look,
I mean, enjoy it.
Look, Pop says get your kids' teeth fixed.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the tooth hurts.
Yeah,
and that's the title of today's show, is that the tooth hurts. What you don't take care of today will affect you tomorrow. There's a commercial used to come on to Dallas, is like, don't put off what you can do today, or don't put off what you could do tomorrow. What you could do today, not tomorrow. So yeah, it's like one of those. So how long did you go? Were you not getting your teeth?
Well, if you want to be honest, I probably first started having teeth issues like around 7 or 8 with cavities. Okay. Well, no. I was the kid with the silvers all through his mouth.
You were one of those.
I was one of those kids.
You must have been bad as all get out.
Everybody said I was bad, but I don't
the kids with the silver teeth, man, they was always horrible.
I already had caps and stuff on my teeth by the time I was 4.
Jeez.
So when those teeth came out,
you should have had some slugs by now, huh?
Oh man, I used to have some goals though back in the day.
For all my listeners out there, if you don't know what slugs are, this is a colloquialism. I guess a term that we use here in Texas. That when you got all real gold teeth, that's permanent, we call them slugs. So
I used to have some goals back in the day, but they was pullouts. But the thing is,
the trays, huh?
That already sent me down that road. Okay. So by the time I was like 7, 8, that's when teeth were starting to come out. It was like just 1. Middle school was like 2, and then by high school, all my molars was gone.
So let me ask you, okay, the environment that you were in, was it kind of like your mom was? Did your mom have benefits?
Nah.
She didn't have benefits. So you just out here eating candy.
Even if she had benefits, I think sometimes with parents is like, so for an example, my soon to be 13-year-old around 2016. So I'm gonna go with, what's that? I'm terrible with math. 6 years ago? No, 2016, 5 years ago. So somewhere around that time, we took her to the dentist. Now, granted, if you're not taking your kids to get checked up regular, she had 9 fillings. I had no idea her teeth were already getting cavities, and at that time she's probably 8, something like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. Also, because on one spectrum you didn't have the background to understand the uses of benefits through your mom, but when you had your firstborn, then you automatically stepped into the role of having these benefits and applying them. You just didn't know the science that applied to your daughter,
exactly,
in the sense of how those benefits related and how she affected those benefits too.
Yeah.
So the reason I say that is because my dad and my aunt, shout out to my Aunt Marsha out there in Houston, and I'll try to see if we can get some sponsorship from you, Annie. But anyway, she used to take me. I used to live in Port Arthur, which was I think about 100 miles between. 100 miles from Houston to Port Arthur. And so I would drive, and also even, I think some in parts, I think Dallas too as well. She would take me and pick me up from wherever I was, drive over 100 miles to Houston to go see Dr. Moss, rest in peace. And First, one of the first ladies I had a crush on. Just, it's something about a woman that has the mask on, and you got your mouth wide open, and all you see is the eyes, and she's doing what you know to be very important for you. But that was like my first crush. So shout out to Dr. Moss, R.I.P. But that in itself, what I'm saying is that the time that it took to get me from point A to point B, the fact that I enjoyed it, maybe I was just a weird kid like that, it really affected my viewpoint on fatherhood, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
And when my dad would get on to me and be like, I pay for this, or I pay for that. I pay for this. Of course, you have that insight in your head to be like, oh, he just talking, and there go his rants. Now he's itemizing his fatherhood now. But honestly, now that I'm a father, it's like you value your kids' teeth more than you value yours.
Oh yeah.
Like my daughter, we spent about anywhere to $4,000 to $5,000 on making sure that she had the most prettiest teeth.
Yeah.
And because I was able and afforded with that opportunity, why not give that to your kids? And honestly, you know what? A lot of women, that's one of the first things they look at.
Yeah.
When they approach you or you approach them.
But I think that's what it like. If you think about value and you say, I see a person, their smile is probably, if there's one thing that stands out, it's the smile.
It's the smile. And I took it for granted, honestly, because I've always been complimented. I'm not trying to, I guess, gaslight or virtue signal, but I've always been complimented on my smile. And I just like, okay, it's a smile. They just teeth, you know what I'm saying? But as I got older, think about what those straight teeth mean. Those white straight teeth. But now you're starting to enjoy that now. I mean everything it comes with the price of pain.
Yeah.
But eventually, because I'm looking at your mouth and it looks like you got sets that you gotta.
Well, I'm gonna get partials.
You're gonna get partials.
Partials.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So we're on the road, right?
Yeah.
But that road is not the most comfortable. But see, I think a lot of parents and a lot of adults don't see it that way. They don't want to go through that pain, knowing that they elongated the process that they should have, implemented a while back. They should have, they put off tomorrow what they could have done today. Mm-hmm. And one thing I will tell you, even though I was educated and had that sense of the ability to go to the doctor, and I thank my stepmom, I thank my mom, my grandmother, my aunt, my dad. It was all a collective thing just to make sure I had straight teeth. But I wasn't into candy like that. And you know how I got educated? I had one year I had 5 cavities. And I was like, and I'm telling my dad, I'm like, and he was like, man, you better not look at a piece of candy. I'm like, Dad, I'm not eating candy like that. You know what I'm saying? I like gum, you know what I'm saying? But I said, I'm not, and even gum.
Gum will do it too, though.
Gum will do it too.
Especially
right?
if it ain't sugar free.
But you know what it was? Me being an athlete. What do athletes drink a lot?
Oh, you talking about Gatorade?
It's that Gatorade.
Yeah.
Like my granddad, you said that Gatorade.
Yeah.
I didn't know that stuff is so high in sugar.
Well, people don't realize juice. All of them, juices, orange juice. Like I said, well, what if I'm drinking 100% all natural apple juice? It don't matter.
It's fructose, right? It's fructose, right?
It's still sugar.
It's still sugar.
It's gonna do the exact same thing.
Right.
And if you're a heavy juice drinker, a heavy soda drinker, yeah, you might as well eat some candy because you're doing the same thing.
Now, what did we talk about as far as the alternatives? And you and I both agree on some of the alternatives that crave, that curb your cravings, right?
Well, I'm now a mineral water person.
Shout out to Mom says my wifey also put me on Topo Chico.
Yeah, I'm a Topo Chico guy.
And I was telling you, I forget the name. I think it's like the Rancher or something like that. Is
it the Waterloo or the?
Not Waterloo, but no, it was the drink that you can make.
I like Pellegrino though.
I like Pellegrino too, but no, I was telling you about the tequila. It was tequila.
Oh, the one that you can. Yeah.
That is a good concept because a lot of times when you're out partying and you have a drink or whatever, a lot of people will ask for diet sodas. Well, that diet soda has aspartame in it, I believe, and it has other type of sugar variants, which affect your inebriation levels a lot more than just regular sugar. That's number one. Number two, it eats at your enamel like you wouldn't believe. Yeah. So if you ever are given a chance to put a straw in that drink, I know it's not manly, I know it's not alpha male-ish, but Pop says use that straw because it doesn't go to your teeth, because at the end of the day, the tooth hurts.
and it was so messed up is my gums are still soft. So the biggest concern for me right now is not getting open socket. So
you won't get infected.
Well, infected, but the pain from because the blood clots are supposed to fill it and harden and do all that type of stuff.
Right.
So using a straw, like even now, I'm a week out of it, but I still don't feel like my gums are secure enough to where I would feel comfortable drinking out of straw
because of that air.
Because of the air, or carbonated. I can't even drink Topo Chico. There's certain I've pretty much minimized everything. I'm waiting for them to get a little bit more solid. Like I still don't touch them. There's still a little swelling, so I'm just waiting for it to all go away. But carbonation, all that, I can't mess with none of it right now.
Yeah, because you called me and you was sounding like a screw tape.
Man.
He's like, man, this stuff hurts, man.
And when I was texting you, I was in the chair.
Yeah, I know.
And that needle, I know y'all can't see it, but man, that needle was like this big, and it went all the way up here, bro. Like and they did it multiple times throughout my.
I remember getting that from my feelings, and I recently got some. I think it was a cap, but I had to get my teeth refilled, and you could just hear and feel the grinding in that. And then sometimes they don't always get it right. So your teeth are not set like they should be. And you know that there's something that feels like something is lodged in there. So you got to go back, have them grind down the teeth again. It's like, man, look, take care of your teeth, dads, and make sure. And look, I know having a daughter, especially when she's like 4, 5, 6, 7, and looking up at you and like, can we go to the store, Daddy? And you like, yeah, you tell her get in, and then you go to the store, you get you what you want, and you like what you want, and you get them. Look, just remember, them pack of Skittles, them pack of Runts, them. I'm probably naming my old school
them
candy.
Capri Suns,
them Capri
all
Suns,
of that, man. Them
you
snacks.
You're gonna pay for that. You're gonna pay for that, and because at the end of the day, what we say. The tooth hurts. So don't negate what's right. And I'll tell you alternatives right now. Like I'm a big beer guy, right? But I know that I can't. I end up getting kind of like a COVID beer gut.
Wine as well, though. Sugar.
Wine as well.
Wine still got sugar in it.
Still got sugar, and it's in that fermentation. Yeah, messes with your enamel. Sugar in it. But here's the alternatives. We talked about mineral water. I'm a big LaCroix fan. Shout out to all my white friends because they love LaCroix. And it was a new word. And my wife, and she also put me onto LaCroix too because I just thought it was like, I didn't know what it was. It just looked cheap. It kind of had the little shats, the front. And so I was like, I'm staying away from it. But when I start having these beer cravings, because beer has a lot of sugar in it too, I substituted that for that. I substituted the water for the beer. And I realized that I was more in tune and I gravitated more to the texture, the crispiness of the carbonation, just like the same texture that you have with beer. That's what I gravitated towards. So understanding that, I was able to cut my beer intake like tremendously to where now it's like, maybe a Saturday or Sunday, if I choose to do so. Do you have any suggestions on different? What are your alternatives?
To be honest, I'm still battling, but what I've got to is mostly focusing on just straight water. I drink my Topo Chicos, but then I get sugar cravings. So to replace that, I just eat a grapefruit. Like I'm at a point to where the grapefruit tastes good enough to where if I eat it, it satisfies that sugar craving.
Yeah.
So that's what it is for me. I just needed something. If watermelon couldn't do it, oranges, grapefruits get it done. And I'm in and I'm out, and that's as bad as I go.
Honey sticks are good for me.
It's funny. I remember like in California they had like these little honeysuckles growing on, but honey, I just don't like honey.
Oh, you don't like honey?
That's not raw, at least. Like how they might say honey bread or something.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about putting honey in tea or putting honey, nah, I don't like the way it tastes.
One of my partners said that it smells like urine.
Yeah, honey.
But to me, I think honey does it for me. I mean, it packs it. It seems like it's high intensity sugar, and it gives me a lot of energy. So I do suggest if for those who are struggling with sugar cravings, and I'm not a big candy or sugar person, but I do have my cravings, and I end up binging, and that's my problem. You know
Only thing I could come up with would be some type of fruit, because anything outside of fruit crosses over into really the manufactured type sugars. Because
well, I mean, you also got agave nectar, which me and my wife, we definitely are into.
But I'm saying, like, my thing is, like, you can do those things because they even have you can go buy cane sugar. They got all these different sugars. But the thing is, it's still
sugar.
Yeah, and when you got a sugar craving, the problem is unless you just decrease the amount of sugar. Like if you make Kool-Aid and you were putting in 2 cups of sugar, maybe you put in a cup now. Now you put in a fourth.
We're not saying that you can't appease that appetite. We're just saying that these are things, if you have these issues that lead into teeth issues or teeth problems, because you gotta, quench that urge, you know what I'm saying? You gotta satisfy that urge.
But I think the problem with sugar in general is that I don't really know if there's a way ever to satisfy it, because it's all still sugar.
Well, I mean, sugar is what you need, though.
It's like the amount of sugar that you need is where the problem comes in, right?
Right.
The hope would be you could eliminate sugar completely, because if you get to as bad as I've gotten, that's why I just want to drink water, Topo Chico water, and eat a grapefruit. Because
so that right there, you are kind of understand. Maybe you may not know the scientific limit of it, but you know that, this satisfies my craving.
Well, satisfied, but I've worked years to get to this point, because most people, everybody got their sugar crave. So if you're a honey person, an agave person, you're still going to satisfy. What I think changes it is the amount of sugar that you require.
Right.
So maybe one person's okay with, like, I remember I used to drink sweet tea. Now if I go to a place, I say, give me half unsweet, half sweet. Now I just do unsweet completely.
You so difficult, bro.
So
I'd hate to be your waiter.
So it's like I'm slowly trying to eliminate sugar.
Okay.
If you don't eliminate it, I think for people, when you have control over it, I never forget, I was watching something on the news one day, and they were like, one of the biggest addictions in the world is sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
I literally looked at the TV. I said, I'm addicted to sugar.
Sugar, yeah.
So if you're addicted to sugar, agave, none of this stuff matters. Honey, because you're still
it's still sugar.
Find a way to supply it. And if you're even in the worst scenario where you're diabetic or something like that, to where now sugar can legitimately kill you, and it's deeper than the tooth hurts. Now it's amputated legs, feet getting cut off. Yeah. You've now entered into a whole nother arena.
Hi, my name is JB, and I'm a sugar addict.
I'm a sugar addict.
Hi,
and
JB.
I'm a diabetic. Because that's the next move.
Right.
So if you eat that much sugar, you're gonna go from the tooth hurts to diabetic.
Right, and you're gonna catch the sugars.
And now you better not eat, because now you gotta check your blood levels. Right. And
you gotta stick yourself, Tony.
Stick yourself. And come on now. So so to me, once you cross a certain threshold, eliminating sugar, because you're not even counting sugar in carbs, you're not counting sugars in pastas, sugars in bread. You're not counting all the areas where you're getting sugar, and then you're eating cakes and pumpkin and pies and all these things, eating fruit snacks, eating cereal.
So we're talking about accountability. And speaking of accountability, we're halfway through our show. So I wanted to do a pop-up check on all my fathers. I had some homework for y'all last week, and this kind of goes into our homework for next week. But I had some homework as far as fathers who have daughters and the idea of courtship, and fathers who have sons, which is a second part series. But those who have sons, have we talked to them about courtship? Like to get your thoughts and viewpoints on our social media aspects, whether it be IG and whatnot. We're going to get that going. But I do want to ask y'all if y'all have thought about that. And I'm going to be I should be reaching out to some of you guys out here in a minute and see if y'all have done your homework, especially some of my Pop Says crew that I immediately know. I will be tapping in with them. So I just wanted to bring that up, which brings me into my next subject of the homework that we need to involve for next week, and it's to find alternatives so we don't get to the level of the tooth hurting. So meaning let's find drink alternatives, let's find sugar alternatives, let's do our homework to see how much sugar intake we should have. Or
and here's the thing, I'll say this. How many people are actually consistent with dentist visits?
That's the thing too.
I'll put it, if you haven't been to the dentist for a year or more, you don't even know the status of your teeth.
Which brings me to my next point. Benefits. You know what I'm saying? Benefits favor the prepared. They say luck favors the prepared. I say benefits favor the prepared, as well as blessings favor the prepared. I will say this. When you're dealing with yourself, and this is why we were talking about courtship last week, because these things enable you to find out who you are as an individual before you start taking the role of taking care of some other individual or individuals, right? So all of this is tied in, okay? One thing that I want my young future pops to understand is that if you can't live with yourself, and I've heard Steve Harvey say this, if you can't live with yourself or learn how to live with yourself by yourself, how would you expect to live with somebody else? And understanding if you have a job, okay, and it's just you, I know that for them to take about, it's anywhere from 70, and that's very good, these days. For them to take anywhere from 70, let's just say $50 to $100 out of your paycheck, it will pay for itself as soon as you walk into that doctor and pay him a visit. My black men that are 35, 40 years old, your insurance will pay, your health benefits and insurance will pay for themselves as soon as you go and see the doctor and set up a colonoscopy visit. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Or what you call it?
I definitely don't know.
Endo.
Yeah.
It's something with your stomach. Get your stomach checked out, okay? And get your, get that back end checked out, because that's what we are as black men are privy to. And so when you understand that it starts with an understanding of the basics, and I'll just give you a little bit of information, and I'm not the professional here. I am learning by experience just like all my other pops. But I will tell you this, that I have, I believe, an HMO plan. And usually I was just the type just like, okay, I'm going to just get an HMO plan. An HMO plan is a network of doctors with a primary care physician, which means he or she acts as somewhat of a gatekeeper to other specialists. Okay. PPO is a little bit different, which you can have PPO. There's nothing wrong with it. But for where I stand, I'm using HMO. My wife has PPO, and we share that as far as the dentist is concerned. I know dentistry, they cater to PPO. So it's all about who caters to what and where your needs are. But start educating yourselves on what these things are. Start educating yourselves. Everybody's talking about votership, which is okay. It's okay. Talking about the elections and all that. Did you know that open enrollment also is an election-based process that you have to go through in order to make sure that you are in good standing, not even good standing, but make sure that you are represented by your insurance. And it's an open window. So if you want to change anything to your policy, you can do it during that time. And I think that's usually October. I could be wrong about that, but like October, November during the fall.
I know what are you talking about the actual voting? Because I was each company will tell you when their open enrollment is.
Yeah.
But then you got to remember, you got the people out here, the brothers, that's the contractors, your 1099, where a lot of those, when you're in those situations, they don't offer benefits. And we went through this battle for years. One of the reasons why we didn't always get our kids' teeth checked and different things, because as I've worked in sales, I've been put in situations where they don't cover you. You're just a contractor. You're under 1099. So a lot of companies, when they do that, they won't get you no medical. Or I've been in scenarios where the company's really small and they have 10 employees. So your medical is like $300-$400 every 2 weeks.
Right.
So it's difficult because once you go outside of corporate benefits, you're now forced to go down the road of like Obamacare type of route. Mm-hmm. Or I found out they have these groups where it's a collective. It's, I don't know, let's say it's 100,000 of us that are in some private thing where we're all spending a certain amount of money. But those groups that do that, you have weight requirements.
It's
you have
like
health
it's kind of like an investment group. Almost.
Yeah. So once you get outside of your benefits with a job, and even people I know that have small businesses, to get coverage for your employees, they make all this stuff difficult.
Right.
It's not easy to say, I'm going to be covered with insurance for blah, 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 or whatever this is. It's definitely the easiest route for benefits is a big company that's large, that has a lot of employees, because the likelihood that they have a lot of employees will drop the cost. And then understanding what's considered, I guess you could say, good coverage from bad coverage helps too, because sometimes you look at it and you go, oh, this one's only $50 a month. Mm-hmm. But they're really not addressing the real needs. And I feel like where people mess up is that, like with our family, we're not really a hospital family. Mm-hmm. We barely ever go to the hospital. I spent my whole life never really ever going to the hospital. And when I went, it was because of football.
Bless you, brother.
But I stay needing dental help. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could be the reverse. Maybe your children need eye care. You may not need to always go to the hospital, or maybe they need to go to see I think it's an optometrist or something like that.
Okay.
So understanding the dynamic of your family and what's affecting you the most, because if you are constantly in the hospital, then you need to pick the highest plan. But maybe the dental you can go lower on, or maybe the vision you can go lower on.
According to medmutual.com, it says differences between HMO, Health Maintenance Organization, that's what it stands for, and PPO, Preferred Provider Organization, plans include network size, ability to see specialists, costs, and out-of-network coverage. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but with PPO plans, which I kind of went around in the last discussion, is that PPO plans provide more flexibility when picking a doctor or hospital.
Yeah, like in-network, out-of-network type stuff. Yeah.
Right. They also feature a network of providers, but there are fewer restrictions on seeing non-network providers. In addition, your PPO insurance will pay if you see a non-network provider, although it may be a lower rate.
I'll say this. For me personally, I mean, unless you specifically have a doctor, a dentist, I haven't had no problems with anyone that's in the network, because usually when you go to the website, you can type in your area or zip code or something and it'll show you everybody in your network. I haven't had no issues with that. Okay. So unless you're just some family that got a dedicated doctor, I feel like most people don't have a dedicated dentist, don't have a dedicated this. So family. Yeah. So to me, it's like, okay, well, if I'm correct, I think you do save money if you go within their extended network. Right. I think it is more expensive to go outside of the network. Right. So from my experience, we've had good. I would say in network, we haven't had a bad. And when you look at it, I can speak on it because I had a daughter that had open heart surgery at 10 months old. Right. So I've experienced the medical, the dental, and the vision, because I got at least 2 kids that need glasses.
Bless you.
So I got the vision getting handled, the dental getting handled, and the medical getting handled. Not only did she have open heart surgery, she also had surgery on her nose to open up a nostril with a bone that was blocked. Mm-hmm. Then they were considering doing throat surgery because one of her, I don't even know how to explain it, but inside your throat, there's these little pockets where I guess air or something. She has a portion of her throat that's stuck together. Okay. So they were considering cutting it open, to split it. Okay. They said they could naturally do it, but by the time I said, look, y'all done basically cut on my daughter enough, we'll let whatever the natural process. Sure. We don't. Y'all done did way too much already.
Right.
So when you realize all these different avenues and what we paid out of pocket for a lot of this is worth it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's worth it.
Yo, look, me being a veteran, also, I've taken advantage of what the VA has. Even though it's a more, it's more tedious in a lot of ways to get what you're trying to get from them. I don't know why, but it is. But once you do set yourself up, it's nothing but success from what I've experienced. I had my first back surgery at 25.
Ooh.
And I went into that building crawling, went into the VA crawling. I said, well, nothing's wrong with you, Mr. G. You're a young guy. You're just having some back spasms or whatever they told me. I don't even remember because the pain was so bad. I just know Mom says she had to almost carry me to the car. And I had to sit on my knees facing the back of the car, crying like a newborn child. Because it felt like somebody was stabbing me in my leg. Can you envision that? Like, can you visualize that?
All I know is that sounds horrible.
I was crawling, bro. And I went to Dr. Cunningham, shout out to Dr. Cunningham, for the Dallas Spine Center. He looked at my back. He gave me an MRI, emergency MRI, gave me an x-ray. He said, look, bro, he said, you need immediate back surgery. He said, we got to do this tonight. And he said, don't worry about the insurance. I mean, he told me, he said, don't worry about the insurance. I understand that you're a veteran. We'll get that straightened out. Everything got cleared. The process was good. The procedure was good. You know how much that bill was?
I'm going to go with like at least 50K or more. Or more. I mean,
overall,
yeah.
Overall, I would say close to about 40, but the actual, I would say the procedure,
yeah,
$27,000.
Yeah, I can believe that because I've kind of looked in. I mean,
that's a if you got good credit, that's almost a 7 Series BMW.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite cars. That's a Silverado truck. That's what I would say an eighth of paying off your mortgage, a 16th, somewhere around there. That's some money, bro.
Yeah,
that's some money. So fortunately, we got, VA stepped in and they took care of everything. But imagine if I didn't have that.
Yeah, but I think that's what
I would have been paying on it to this day.
Here's the thing: when I look at all this, what's funny is I was talking to my cousin about this the other day. The problem I feel like is when you're younger, you don't really have a reality on what life is. And I'm more referring to bad stuff. Mm-hmm. I'm not referring to you chasing your dreams and she look cute. And I'm not referring to that because you don't know you're about to get into a car accident.
Yeah, what happens in the process of you chasing your dreams? Yeah. You might get tripped up.
You don't know your legs breaking in a week.
Right.
You don't, all these, I guess you could say, terrible things that are about to happen, you don't know they're about to happen.
Right.
You did not know at 18 your back was going to be in the position it was in.
Right.
I did not know at 18 that I'm getting 9 teeth. And it wasn't even that. If you want to be honest, I should have got my teeth taken out like 12 years ago.
Okay.
I went to the dentist and they told me we need to take your teeth out.
Ladies and gentlemen, pops and moms, that's what we call accountability.
And procrastination because I put it off. And where I'm going with it is, in a lot of scenarios, we know what we need to do well before it gets to the extreme. I've been knew I should have got these teeth taken out. It's not like it just crept up on me out of I woke up one day. No, this has been going on my entire life.
Right.
But I could come up with 10 million great excuses to why I didn't get it done. I could tell you the whole story on all the reasons why I didn't get it done. Mm-hmm. But when I sat in that chair for an hour and 30 minutes,
all those reasons
came back, and I should have took my butt to go get it done 12 years ago. And let me tell you the worst part of it. When you have to get the root out, there really, I don't care how much medicine you get. That root is at a whole nother level. This side over here, and I know y'all can't see it, but my right side didn't have an infection. See, when I went in there is because I had an infection that went across my whole entire jawline right here. Mm. So it's already bad enough
and,
to have to
and that can be the equivalent of death.
Oh yeah, because it was starting to get to my going up into my brain. I could feel it all the way by my eye socket. So I knew it was bad, but I procrastinated on that too. I waited like 4 or 5 days. So as soon as I went in there, they said, we got to take all your teeth out. There was no other. I was at the end.
Yeah.
I waited to the very end.
Kind of like that same way with my back. I started feeling a little tingling in my leg, and then it got to the point to where I couldn't use the restroom, and I even waited then, and I was like,
yep.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
We keep putting it off. And then as men, and Pop said.
And I end up getting nerve damage because of that.
Yeah, and as Pop says, this is what we do too, man. We sit back and we go, oh, my shoulder, you know what? It's all good, man. I'm gonna use some of my grandmama's salve. I'm straight. Everything is I'm straight now. You ain't straight.
Especially here in Texas, because this is football. This is football. So when you come home, you used to come home with strawberries on your arm. You used to limping home, and then the next day, but you're not young no more.
And in Texas, football trains you to be tough anyway.
Exactly.
Suck it up. Walk it off.
Right.
So the problem is us as men, we ain't even accountable to our own bodies.
You're right.
We're
right.
Really not. We will just. You can see your 7-year-old get hurt.
You said a mouthful.
Yeah, you can see your 7-year-old get hurt, and you'll say, you know what? Let's get them taken care of. When in reality, you can't be a Pop says with your back jacked up.
Right.
You need to go get your back fixed so you can continue being a Pop says.
Right.
We can't do our job if we on the deathbed.
Mm-hmm.
In a lot of cases, we're killing ourselves.
Yeah, we are.
So when you think about the tooth hurts, we really grabbing all the things that destroy us.
Yeah, it really serves as a metaphor. It's not just the teeth. It's every aspect.
It's all of it.
It's your bad habits. It's your level of accountability. It's, before you start, not to say you can't get on your kids about bad habits, but also check your bad habits as well.
We got a bunch of them because, I wish you could be in my brain as they were pulling these teeth out. It was an hour and 30-minute therapy session because I was in my head really like, what am I doing?
You reached out to me like I was the lifeline or something. Like I got to talk to somebody.
I sent that text. I said, man, look, bro, I'm about to do this. And they gave me all the drugs.
I was like, I'm here with you. I can't do anything, but I'm here with you.
They gave me all the drugs. It didn't matter. And when they got to the side with the infection, there was no stopping that.
Well, let me tell you this.
There was no stopping it.
Let me tell you this. I've been told to get a colonoscopy. I think that's how you pronounce it. For a while, because again, black men are privy to that. Oh, and let me just say this sidebar. Do you know that heart disease at one time was the leading cause of black men who died, I think, from the ages of 50 to 75, something like that. And then later they found out that it was because a lot of black men, weren't going to the dentist, nor were they flossing.
Yeah,
which means that tartar is more than just leftover particles of food. It's like waste in your mouth that gets in your bloodstream that goes to your heart that leads to heart disease.
But that go back to just doing simple homework, which is, from what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're supposed to visit the dentist at least every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
Whether your teeth are good or not.
Right.
So if you can just, and to be honest, if I'm correct, with benefits, they're usually free. Teeth cleaning, checkups, X-rays.
I know with our PPO
are free.
X-rays, teeth cleaning, and whitening. They give you a whitening, but all that's free.
So so the question would be,
maintenance.
Are you even utilizing it? We get our oil change.
Mm-hmm.
We get our tires changed,
mm-hmm.
rotated.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, brakes changed.
Mm-hmm.
Or you getting your teeth checked?
And which brings me to the next thing. Look, the tooth hurts, but in the end, it's so sweet. And I know that's oxymoronic, but when I got my colonoscopy done, first of all, and this is kind of funny, I tell my partners about this. The nurse that was in there, he was a male nurse. He's telling me about the process. And the first day, I'm not gonna lie, I just walked up out of there. And so, shout out to the VA in Arlington off of Campus Drive. They called me back, and I guess they understood that I wasn't the only male that walked out on their first colonoscopy visit. So they was like, "Hey, we understand. We just want to set up another appointment with you." So he set up another appointment. So they told me all the things that I had to do, even the preparation of it.
I don't even want to think about it because I feel like I know I'm next. I don't even want to think about this.
So we get down to the meat of it, right? So to speak. No pun intended. So we get down, and I'm on my side, and the male nurse is like, anytime you want to hold my hand, feel free. And I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, I got my backside exposed to you. I got this tube that's in there. Y'all got this balloon that y'all gonna inflating me to figure out what's going on. I didn't took this chalky stuff. I don't feel right. Holding your hand is the last thing. I said, bro, I'm good, man. Just do what you got to do. Man, this is inflatable thing, I don't know the terminology to it, but it just expanded my insides. As soon as that thing started expanding, I asked that nurse, I said, man, give me your hand. So again, don't put off tomorrow what you can do today. If you're given that opportunity, take that proverbial hand because it will save you in the end. But hey, look, all this is not comfortable, fellas. Getting your teeth pulled is not comfortable. Getting your colon checked is not comfortable. But if you've ever seen somebody on their deathbed with these things that have been an occurrence in their lives that end up to their that is the reason for their demise, you'll start to understand that I don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
Cancer is painful. I've got habits that could lead to cancer. I've got to quit that. You know what I'm saying? There's things that I already readily know. So, like you said before, being a pop says you've got to be alive to do that.
Yeah, you can't be a father if you're dead.
Right. You can't be a father if you're dead.
You can't be
It's
a
just
husband.
a memory. Yeah.
Dead.
Right.
And I feel like everything you're saying is what if you're young, you don't really think about it, and
Right.
if you're old, you just put it off. Like most people, just I'll get to it. But man, if I could travel back in time,
Yeah,
boy,
for real.
with these teeth,
For real. If these teeth could talk,
boy, if I could just go
which
back
kind of they can.
12 years ago, I would have said, get it done right now.
Hey, could you imagine you going back into the past and slapping them Skittles at your hand? Would
Man.
you fight with your younger you? Fight with the older you?
You know what's funny is this is one thing I always tell my kids. I wish somebody would have sat me down and I was the kind of person, if you could just explain the benefits and tell me why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
I could get that.
Right.
But didn't nobody do it.
You know what? And I'm glad, and we only got about 10 minutes left. I wish we would have embarked on this. Explain to your kids why you're taking them to the dentist. Explain why they're going to the doctor's checkup. Fathers, don't look. All my pop says, if y'all act like the alpha males that you are, and if your daughter doesn't mind you being in the room with her while she's getting her checkup, be in there with her. Now, if she doesn't want you to, that respect her boundaries. That's fine. But go see the difference between a junior size pad and a adult size pad. Know the difference between a pad and a tampon.
Yeah.
Know what comes with. Know what side effects come with it. Do not leave it up to mom, especially fathers with daughters. Don't leave it to mom to address these female issues. Educate and acclimate yourself to these things so you already know.
Yeah.
Some of the funny things, like when my daughter started acting weird and I start to see all this chocolate in the house, I'm like, oh, okay, I know what that is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I know how to approach it. I know how to approach her a lot differently now.
I think it was good you had a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
So you saw both, but I got 3 daughters.
You got 3 daughters.
That's a different kind of animal.
Well, look, your understanding is going to be reiterated 3 times. By the time you get to that young one, you'll be doing it with your eyes closed. Yeah. Yeah, because at the end of the day, we are still educating ourselves. So as we sit up here with this podcast, this platform that we're on, and this ability to speak and broadcast our point of view and our spectrum, that does not necessarily mean that we are professionals. We are just giving you personal accounts of what we've seen, what we've been through, and to make things even a little bit more easier for the ones that come after us. That's one of the main things that I like about this show, because it's kind of like if I could have had my old self talk to my young self.
Yeah,
like you said, there's a lot of things that you would have known about, and a lot of ways you would have navigated a different way. A lot of ways you would have moved differently, and so that's what this platform allows a lot of people to do. Again, let me ask you. You never did answer my question. If the old you came to the young you and saw you with them Skittles.
Yeah, I would, but that's what I was getting. I would not do it. I've never really been even though I was hard headed.
Right.
I never really was the person where if you could sit me down and explain it.
Oh, you're saying so the old you would actually sit down
and at least be willing to listen.
All right.
I would be willing to listen to someone say, "Here's why you should put that." You ain't gonna just smack them out my hand, because the old me would have been like, "You done lost your mind." But the old me would have said, "Let me hear your point. Let me see what you're going to say. And if it makes sense to me, then I'll put the Skittles down."
Okay.
So this version of me would know how to explain it to the old version.
Okay.
So when it comes to like even my kids and my children, one of the things why they don't eat a lot of candy and they don't drink a lot of juice is because I've explained to them. I open my mouth. I let them see my teeth. Mm-hmm. I let them see the fruit of the benefits of my addiction to sugar.
Right.
And they don't want it.
Right.
But it's taking that time to explain it. I explained to them why. They know I got my teeth taken out, but I explained to them now why you're going to get your teeth checked out. We're going to get you checked up. Mm-hmm. And we're going to make this a normal thing.
Right.
So by the time they're an adult, it's not going to be surprising for them to say, yeah, I'm going to my dental visit. I'm going to my doctor visit. I'm going to because we created a culture that's normal.
Yeah, shout out to the women out there, man, because they I look at my wife and I'm like, man, you are a G, a total G, because women will go, and I think it's because not primarily based on this, but when you have kids, you have to make sure that you're right.
Yeah, and
I think that develops some type of muscle memory for you to always be in a position of going. And even my grandmother, to this day, my grandmother's 90. She's 93. She'll be 94 this year, I believe. I'm sorry, grandbaby. She's at least 6 to 7 years away from being a centurion. Shout out to her. And also she was a driving force in how I view responsibility and dealing with the doctor and the dentist. But even to this day, she could get the worst news from the doctor and still go, because that worst news ain't as worse as it could have been had you not known. And I think that's what fathers need to realize. It may be bad now, but by you not going, it's going to be worse.
Oh, yeah.
My dad was shot, I think in 83, somewhere around there. And he had always had to go to the dentist. And that unfortunate situation provided him the benefit of taking me on a regular basis. So even that traumatic experience from that, it kind of helped me be accountable too, because all of his teeth, his back teeth, top and bottom, he swallowed half of them when he got shot, and the rest of them I don't know where they went, but he always had dental issues. And like you, as soon as you open up your mouth, that's what that reminded me of. Yeah. It's like somebody getting they teeth shot out. You know what I'm saying? So look,
it felt like it.
Yeah. So salute to you, brother. My hats off to you, man. And Hey, look, man, this has been a great segment. It's not been the sexiest. It's not been the the most profound. But I hope that it's educated you nonetheless, because this is part of being a father. Part of being a father is accountability. And when you're faced with the opportunities, as we as Americans have in this world, to help our family be healthy, to aesthetically look good, to carry on those understandings in life and pass those down to their kids, this is the time that we need to utilize and be thankful for what we truly have, and just keep that going. So our homework for next week was last week. It was about courtship, and it was about having your children understand the effects of learning to live with themselves and by themselves before transitioning, or if they choose to share a life with somebody, that you as their parents are involved in their teenage love life, so to speak, through the ideal of courtship, which brings me into the responsibility factor of taking care of yourself. So this is what I impose upon all my fathers, all my mom says out there, is to actually find alternatives to your cravings, to your addictions, and see if we can replace those. Whether you do it once a week, whether you do it twice a week, we just wanted to know if you're going to go out there and actually do the research and get the information possible. Other than that, JB, look, this weather has been good. It's been a lot different from a couple of weeks ago.
It's been hot, man. Humid. Well, at least
it's kind of humid, right?
Yeah.
It's like baby Houston. But so, we're doing good over here. We're doing well here in Dallas right now. And I just thank everybody for their help from the last couple of weeks ago. Everybody in my neighborhood was helpful, and I hope I was just helpful, and I return that help. But I just thank everybody. And, hey, we'll see y'all next week. I'm your host. What is my name? I'm your host, GJ, alongside my man, JB. And this is Pop Says Podcast.
All right.